Hey, this is Stacy and Megan
with another What We're Cooking and Eating Now mini episode. We share 2 of these short episodes every month in addition to our regular weekly episodes, and we give you a real-time rundown of what we're cooking for our families.
Real time, even if it's cooking nothing. In each of these episodes, we'll walk you all the way through one recipe and then list 5 others. All in, you get 6 easy weeknight dinner ideas that we've tested.
And you can use our ideas or avoid our fails and literally turn these ideas into a meal plan for your week. We'll be sharing the links for all the recipes mentioned in our free community, which you can join by going to didn'tijustfeedyou.com/community. All you have to do is enter your email, which we keep private, and look out for our post with all the what we're cooking and eating now details.
All right, Megan, let's jump in. We're going to start with you. You're going to be the one to walk us through one full recipe this week. What did you cook since we've last spoken?
Okay. I'm just going to be really transparent and say that it has been a weird, hectic week. Brian's on a long stretch of working, so I'm solo parenting. It's deep baseball season, so we have had it's spring. We'll have games scheduled. They get rescheduled because there's lots of rain. So this week we had 3 baseball games, 3 nights in a row of baseball games.
PTSD. No, I know.
Am I?
I shouldn't. I'm not trying to make light of PTSD. I'm going to take that back. Roll the bat. But we're just starting baseball season this week. So Oliver has only had 1 practice. And the first game is this weekend. And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
I get why people enjoy it, and sometimes I do too, but I'm more of a basketball mom. It's like you're in and out. It's like an hour, hour and a half. The game is fast paced. Like watching school-aged and tween boys playing baseball is a little bit like watching paint dry to me. Sorry, I said it.
It's okay. I am going to go opposite direction and tell you I freaking love it.
That's amazing. I love that.
It is such a mix of skill levels. Like we have a great infield players are killing it, and outfield players are like picking daisies and digging up dirt. The only thing is it's a logistical nightmare. I like that we have games on weeknights instead of on the weekend, and we occasionally have like a weekend practice.
Okay, you like that?
I do, because it means the weekends are back. Like if we had games all weekend, like the number of games that we have during the week, which is sometimes 2, sometimes 3, if we had those all weekend, we wouldn't get to do anything else on the weekends.
Gosh, I love weekend games. I feel like that gives us structure, it gives us something to do that the boys don't complain about because it's for them. Whereas let's go to a museum and it's like for 2 hours I have to hear them complain. Yeah. It gets us outside. Also, my kids, we don't get a lot of homework, to be honest, but they're like exhausted.
Yeah.
When they're weekday games, Oliver is like dead at the end.
Yeah, we do run into that. And we also run into Ella does not enjoy going to the games. So we're all we're always trying to throw her off onto another family. Like she can go hang out at her friend's house instead. So it's all to say it's very hectic. There's a lot of logistical things at play. Yes. And this weekend I was like, you know what? We have a lot of leftover produce. We have a bunch of meat in the freezer. I'm not going to do a full grocery shop. I'm going to try to just cook from what we have on hand.
I love that.
But I do need to just go off on a little story time because we had this thing over the weekend where I was like, oh, we'll go to Target. We'll get the home products that we need. We'll get out of the house because it was this weird thing where there was a fire near our house and our road was shut down. And so we couldn't get out. Yep. And I was like, okay, now we're going to get out. It's kind of evening time. And I can grab the couple of grocery things that I need, like milk and cream cheese and bagels and stuff like that for breakfast. And both of my kids, my 10 and my 7-year-old, had complete meltdowns in Target. And I said, if we don't pull it together, we're going to leave. And I think neither of that, because I've threatened that before and I've either been in a different mood where I'm like, it's okay. We'll walk through it. But this time I was like, nope, I left the cart in the middle of an aisle. I took them both by their hands. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't screaming. I was very calm, which is probably more scary to them.
It is.
And I was like, we're leaving. And we got in the car and it was complete silence. And Emmett was like, are we going to get arrested because we left our car in the middle of
really cute. It's a tiny bit sad.
It's a tiny bit sad,
but it's super cute.
I mean, I was like it was like rage silence, and I was like, we're all gonna be quiet while we drive home, and by the time we get home, I will come down from this. And then, so all that to say, grocery shopping my like attempts at grocery shopping this weekend were kind of disastrous.
I'd like to tell you my very twisted takeaway from this story is that I need to employ rage silence more.
Yeah,
it's highly effective.
It's it scared him.
Because I'm a yeller.
Yeah,
I run hot.
And the thing is, when you yell, then they feel like they have the permission slip to be 100%. Upset.
Yes,
they're like, "Oh, you're yelling at me!" Cries.
Yes, and it becomes all about how bad we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Rage silence. That's my takeaway. Now tell us what you ate.
Okay, I am hot again for a recipe that I started cooking when I did a Whole30 many years ago. I'm not endorsing Whole30. I'm just endorsing this recipe.
What words did you utter on Didn't I Just Feed You?
I know. I don't like to talk about diets, but it's an egg roll in a bowl. I love the recipe from, like, you can find a recipe for egg roll in a bowl so many places, but I love Christine Gallery, who's a former guest, her version on Kitchen. I'm just going to give the warning that it was part of a Whole30 series. So there's talk about, how it's low carb, et cetera. Yeah. That's not of any matter to my family, but I like that it uses ground meat. You can use ground beef or turkey or chicken or pork. We have a bunch of pork in our freezer. I think I mentioned this last time when I said I made chicken parm burgers, and then I was like, actually, they're pork parm.
Yes, totally. You still working through that ground pork. Okay.
Still working through that ground pork. So you just cook it in a big skillet, saute it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. And then you throw in either broccoli slaw, or you could use cabbage and carrot matchsticks, scallions, a bunch of garlic. You can add a little bit of soy sauce or tamari to the mixture, and it all cooks really quickly. Seriously, it takes 15 minutes to make. But the thing I think is what makes this recipe superior to other egg roll in a bowl recipes is that there is a sauce. I would call this a yummy sauce because that's what I think of from Japanese restaurants growing up, hibachi restaurants. But it's really just mayonnaise and whatever hot sauce you love. You can use
I've
sriracha.
Never heard that term, yummy sauce.
Really? I feel like it's a whole thing. And there are very elaborate yummy sauces where it's mayonnaise, soy sauce, a little bit of sugar, some garlic chili paste. It can range from it's 2 ingredients of mayonnaise and hot sauce to very elaborate, slightly sweetened yummy sauces.
Is this like Americans don't know a history of it? I don't mean now.
Yes.
Back in the 1950s or something, Americans were what's that crazy sauce at the exotic Chinese place? It's
I know.
Yummy. Let's call it yummy sauce. I wonder if that's the history.
Yeah, I don't know the full history, but I associate it with hibachi style restaurants. So I think it's it is probably some sort of assimilation where there was something else more delicious.
But there's an interesting story in this.
Yeah, let's figure it out. And
I would like to. I think that's really interesting
about it. I would say. So we did that one night for dinner this week. And again, it was something I could cook really quickly before a later baseball game. And you could serve it over rice or rice noodles. We did not. We did tortillas, and almost ate it like a mushu pork taco kind of style. And my kids were really into that. They do not enjoy the yummy sauce the way I do. And that's fine. More for me.
Okay. What else did you eat?
Okay. I feel like maybe the theme for the week is cabbage, because not only was there cabbage in the egg roll in the bowl, but there was, we also used up a head of cabbage. I've talked about this before, but I feel like anytime I buy a head of cabbage, no matter how small I think it is, or no matter how big it actually is, even if I'm cooking with it, every night. I feel like it lasts for 4 weeks. My fridge.
You're like, how is there still a cabbage here?
Yes. And I feel like you cooked something similar and mentioned it. I don't know what we're cooking and eating now, but basically roasted sausage and cabbage on a sheet tray. Like literally that's it. I let the sausage fat be what seasoned the cabbage. Although I did do a little bit of vinegar and salt and pepper after it came out of the oven.
Then I cut the cabbage and
I did
cross like slices, or did you shred it?
So I had half a head of cabbage and I basically cut it into 8 pieces. So 4 wedges, and then cut the wedges in half across their length, almost like the presentation you see with iceberg in a wedge salad. But they fall, which means like the tops get really brown because they're up high above everything else. And for the way my oven is, like the hotter part of my oven is at the top anyways. So they get nice and brown, and then everything underneath gets like really tender, and it all kind of falls apart and becomes this like lush bed of roasted cabbage for the sausage to go on. As you might imagine, my kids don't think roasted cabbage is as delicious as I think it is.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. So I also did a sheet tray of tater tots from Frozen, and I had impulse bought soft pretzel bites, which I found in like the bread section at my grocery store.
Love. Yeah.
So they had sausage, apples, tater tots, and pretzel bites. I did put a couple pieces of sausage on their plate. Or not sausage. I did put a couple pieces of cabbage on their plate. They were still there when we cleaned up dinner. So, but I really enjoyed that dinner.
Do they like raw? Like I love your tater tot idea, but could another thing be like if your kid likes a coleslaw, like cut up your cabbage, leaving just like 1/3 or 1/4, and then cut that raw and put that on their plate shredded?
1000%. And like I think I mentioned, we did black bean burritos recently and had like a cabbage and carrot slaw. Still, that's the same head of cabbage. No joke. And they loved that. Or like they like the broccoli slaw, which is like more broccoli and less cabbage. Raw or cooked.
Yep.
But for some reason, if you just also cabbage, like it was green cabbage, which is not very colorful. I don't know. It just wasn't enticing to them at all. But yes, you could totally turn a portion into just like shredded slaw instead.
Nice. Okay.
Or you could do the same concept with another veg. You could do cauliflower, which they love, roasted cauliflower, or broccoli. I think the idea is just like sausage and a longer, like a heartier vegetable that can roast alongside the sausage.
Got it.
And lots of like, that's the thing where I want like just a little side of mustard, but I wish I had made like a mustard sauce that would have made it come all together. Like so
creamy mustard sauce with a little bit of lemon zest to make it bright.
And a lot of black pepper. 100%. Yes. Okay. Last thing is, so sausage and sheet pans are the theme of my week.
I like it.
We did sheet pan teriyaki chicken wings, which I didn't use a recipe for this. I just like had a bottle of is it soy vey?
Yeah.
Their teriyaki sauce. So I just roasted wings on a sheet tray, on a cooling rack actually, and did the tip that we talked about on Reels recently, where I put the wings on a rack.
Yep.
So they get crispy on all sides. And then underneath the rack, I did snap peas, carrot coins, because I had them, they needed to be used up, and broccoli, and then just served that over plain jasmine rice for dinner one night this week.
Did you cut the carrot coins, or did you buy them pre-cut?
Oh, no, they were definitely pre-cut.
Okay.
We're talking about like, we're reaching into the depths of my produce drawer because I didn't really get my grocery shop done.
Now we heard. My kids don't like cooked snap peas or cooked carrots.
Yeah.
But they would love if I just did wings and gave them raw carrots and snap peas. They'd be psyched.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The nice thing about doing the sheet pan cooling rack trick is that you could like cook them less if you just wanted to like quickly steam them. Cause I think that is objectively an issue with snap peas and carrots, is when they get roasted for too long and they're like soggy, weird type, especially snap peas if they have like any sort of peas in them, and then you get like kind of a crunchy pea, but the outside is squishy. Totally. Yes. Anyways, that's what I cooked this week. What did you cook this week?
So let's just fly through it. This week, I think the last time we spoke, I had mentioned that my kids made a post vacation meal plan and I had made carbonara, but I hadn't made bolognese. And carbonara was Isaac's pasta choice and bolognese was Oliver's. So he made real sure that I was going to make bolognese this week. So I did. I'm going to share two recipes in the links. I'm going to share the one for my chicken meat sauce made with chicken thighs that I love, 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 but definitely feels a little bit more like a weekend meal, but I just want people to have that recipe. I'm also going to share your instant pots,
Yes.
pasta and meat sauce, but I made neither of those. I did a
Here.
version of the Instant Pot one. It's
Okay.
funny because I asked Oliver, I had time. I was like, do you want me to make the meat sauce in a pot or in the Instant Pot? And he said, I think I want you to make the Instant Pot because the pasta gets more cooked with the meat. There's something about the texture. I call it Chef Boyardee texture.
I do too.
Right?
But I love it. You're saying it like that's a bad thing, and I'm saying it like, yeah,
no,
it's good.
I like it. It's like a time and a place. Like
Yes.
it gets, because all that starch goes into the sauce and then also like makes the outside of the pasta, even if you cook it till al dente, like it's still kind of a little bit softer on the outside than when you bite into it, right? So he asked for that. And so I just riffed. And I didn't have a lot because I hadn't gone food shopping. I grabbed the ground meat from my freezer. So I used red wine as the main flavoring agent because I didn't have a lot of stuff. I just had I didn't even have a Rayo's or a jar of good marinara. I had to use canned tomatoes. So I really needed to figure out a very quick and easy way to build flavor. And a little red wine to deglaze the onions, and then another splash of red wine at the end just to kind of boost the flavor. It worked really nicely. And with it, I air fried broccoli for the first time.
Okay.
And it was not good.
Oh, no, say, because I love roasted broccoli when it gets
I
crispy.
love roasted broccoli.
Well,
everybody was like, you should just do this in the oven. This was not good.
Yeah.
The floret, the top of the florets started to get crispy, like they were going to burn because they were fried. And that was nice. But the stems still felt crunchy. They were cooked on the outside, but they were crunchy on the inside. It didn't work. I also didn't look up a recipe. I just guessed 415 minutes or something like that. 12 minutes.
That seems like it would be right.
Tossed it in olive oil, salt, and pepper. And everybody, entire family was like, nope, use the oven next time. So curious to hear from our community if they've had luck. What do you do when you air fry broccoli?
Yeah. I also want to shout out, I love Ben Mims' book, Air Fryer Every Day. He has a whole chart in there of vegetable and its cooking time and temperature, which is incredibly helpful. If you are going to be air frying a lot of vegetables or at least experimenting.
Yeah. I don't know. It just didn't work. Okay. Made cheese arepas, still coming down off of our trip, craving some tastes of Colombia. Arepas are actually surprisingly easy to make. I know it seems like it might not be, and it definitely it takes some, if not time, mental stamina. I can't explain it, but even just taking out masa and adding water and using your hands to make a dough just psychologically feels like you're doing more work, even though it literally comes together. It's literally masa and water, and it takes all of 7 to 10 minutes to make the dough. And then they fry up really quickly too. I get it if it feels like too much, but they were really delicious. I keep masa in my freezer because I don't use it quite enough. And it just stays fresh there, and I just have a big bag, and it was delicious. To make those cheese arepas, I had found Oaxacan cheese and cotija cheese at Whole Foods. And instead of just grating and crumbling a little bit, I grated the whole ball of Oaxacan cheese. I crumbled up the whole round of cotija. And then I had way more cheese than I needed. And so I saved it in a bag, and I made from What's Gabi Cooking. She has a recipe for Mexican corn and quinoa salad, and it calls for a bunch of grated cheese. So I already had that ready to go and waiting. So this was like a really nice pairing. I didn't plan it that way because I was still like post vacation mode, kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, but it worked out really nicely. I had some chicken breasts, did a cilantro lime marinade, and had the quinoa salad with the chicken and just like sliced avocado.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a perfect summer meal.
It was really nice. And it was, it's so not summer here yet, but yes.
I know.
And then also I forgot to say with the cheese arepas, I just got some fresh chorizo meat, like ground chorizo, and I browned it and I did quick pickled onion, which I also used in that other meal with the cilantro lime chicken. And I basically like cut up avocado, hearts of palm, pickled onion, and then I put the chorizo on top of the arepas. That's what made it a meal because arepas alone is not substantial enough for my family.
Right. Even if they're cheese filled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's not that much cheese. I will tell you that Oliver and I were working on it together. We had a really hard time getting as much cheese as we wanted into the arepa because I was trying to make it small.
Yeah.
And then you like you dent a little hole and then you fill the hole with cheese and then you kind of fold the dough around it and then reflatten it. And we kept putting in so much cheese. We couldn't get
they were like domed.
Yes, totally. It wasn't enough. So I think that's more a problem with us than it is with the
and your love of cheese, which I was laughing when you were talking about the Oaxaca and cotija because I know from off recording that you have overrun of cheese at the moment. I'm thinking about how you made bolognese, and so you have like Parmesan, and then didn't you use Romano last week when you were making carbonara?
Totally.
And, like,
so I have both of those. I have Oaxaca cheese. I have cotija cheese. I had sliced pepper jack, which I always have. I had feta, which I always have. Oh, and then I want to make pizza this weekend. So I have like multiple bags. I like using a combination of the shredded pizza combo and then also getting fresh mozzarella and slicing it. So I have 2 balls of fresh mozzarella and 2 bags pizza cheese.
All in my refrigerator. Have a cheese shop.
I basically have a cheese shop. Oh, and then I saw mini bries in the market, and you have shown those before.
I love those.
I bought those too because I was like, oh, I never see these. I'm gonna have mini bries.
I make myself little snack platter lunches with them.
Oh, that's so smart.
Like a single serve cheese plate. Yeah.
And I haven't known what to do.
Because next time we talk, I'm going to want to know what you did with all your cheese.
Deal.
Deal. Our listeners will probably have some ideas for you if you don't have any, which is a good segue to say this bi-monthly series is thanks in part to the generous support of our Didn't I Just Feed You supporting membership. So a big shout out and thank you to them.
Yay.
You can find out more about becoming a supporting member at didn'tijustfeedyou.com/community. And hey, if it's not the right time for that for you, don't forget you can get all the links to this week's What We're Cooking and Eating Now by joining the free section of our community.
A huge thank you also to our editor, Samantha Gatzik. Thank you all for listening. Stay sane and well-fed until next time.